Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phay, and welcome to the channel. My three favorite things are eating my pets and not using commas. Today, we're taking a look at Planet Unknown from Adam's Apple Games. In Planet Unknown, 1 to 6 players are tasked with trying to develop a new planet to try to get as many resources as possible and win as many medals as possible because, frankly, we ran out of resources here on Earth. All right. Now, you're going to do this by drafting polyomino tiles on your turn, placing them on a planet, gaining resources that way, trying to go up different tech trees, trying to take care of meteorites as they're landing. You need to go pick up life pods as they're going, get your rovers marched around the board. There's just a lot to do. So I'll tell you what, let me explain how to play the game, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So the first thing you need to do is you need to set up the game, all right? Now to do that, hopefully your Lazy Susan is already filled in with all of the polyomino tiles and everything they're gonna go, or all the places they're gonna go, okay? And every few games, you're gonna wanna pull them out, you're gonna wanna shelf them up and put them back in. Also remember that center tray can pop out, rotate, and drop it back into place. So that way you're not always lining up the same types of tiles on every game. It changes things up quite a bit, okay? Now, if this is your first game, I recommend, or the book actually recommends as well, also, just using the planet, what is it, the K584156 planet, okay? And also using the Universal Coalition for your corporation. There's the initial board game, there's 6 planets, there's 6 boards, and one side of every planet board, one side of every resource board is going to have those, okay? Once you know how to play the game more, then you can flip to the asymmetry sides. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the Lazy Susan and you're going to put that in the middle of the table. You're going to put your planet board and your tracker beside it. And you're going to want to put all of your colored cubes in the 0 space down at the bottom. Grab a couple rover tokens. You're going to want to put life pods on the 6 different locations that happen to be on your planet. Take all the meteorites, put those in the center of the play area because you're going to need those. Then what you need to do is you need to take Civ cards. There's 4 levels of Civ cards, and you need to take Civ cards. It's 1 per player plus 1, and you're going to put those in a stack, Civ 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as you gain your tech tracks and get your Civ cards, you can pull from them, okay? The other thing you want to do is you want to be able to take your objective cards. Now, in a multiplayer game, you're going to have objective cards going between you and your neighbor, and you want the neighbor side up. If you're playing a solo game, flip them over, and then you're playing on the solo side. I'll cover a little bit on the solo stuff in my final thoughts, all right? And pretty much at this point, now what you need to do is you need to get, you're ready to go. Now, they do have event cards for the game, and it's one of the optional things. And I'm going to talk about those in my final thoughts, but you don't have to have them for the core game. But I'll tell you what, I recommend them because they make the game so much better. All right, so you're now ready to play. So what's going to happen? One person is going to be designated the commander. He's going to take the commander token, and he's going to put that right in front of him, right by the Lazy Susan, okay? And the 2 tiles, inner and outer tile, right in front of him, that's going to be called his depot, all right? Every person should have their little triangle token, whatever color they're playing, they should have that by their depot as well. Now, the commander, he can choose to rotate that Lazy Susan however he wants. He's going to put it on whichever tile he wants. He can even leave it in the same one. Once he determines where it's going to go, then everybody has to draft 1 tile from that Lazy Susan, and you're going to place it on your board. The first one you place on your board has to go adjacent to one of the border's edges. If you cover up one of the life pods, the life pod's going to get destroyed. Okay, those life pods are worth money, so you really want to try not to destroy them if you can help. All right, but otherwise, what you're doing is you're putting the tile down, and if it's got a meteorite symbol on it, you're going to place a meteor on it. But then once you place it there, you're going to notice every tile is going to have two different colored sections on them. And each one of those sections is going to be related to the tech tree. There's civ, water, biomass, your rover, and then there's tech. And there's the other one, which I always forget what it is, but it's a universal one, and that allows you to go up on any one of the other tracks. But it's based on its adjacency to what it is, and I'll cover that here in a little bit as well. Okay. But when you put your tile down, all right, you set it down there, you're going to go up one space in those civ tracks. Now, one of the things you're going to notice in those civ tracks is there's a lot of little icons along the way. As you land on those different icons, you're going to get different benefits. So one of the benefits might be, well, you can go up on one of the other tracks. You're going to get victory points based on how high you go up. The rover is going to allow you to put rovers actually on the board and then also give you some rover movement as well. The biomass one, as you place and go up on those ones, that's actually going to give you these little biomass tokens or the little tree tokens or little 1x1s. And it's going to allow you to be able to put those and fill in all your little empty holes. Because when you draft your tile and you go to put it on your board, you have to put it adjacent to another tile that you have orthogonally. And that is until you reach one of the levels on the tech track. And I think it's, what is it? Level 1, 2, 3, 1 each time. Oh, man. Level 1. Imagine that. Okay. So once you reach level 1, I can't remember any of this stuff. Once you reach level 1, you no longer have to follow the adjacency orthogonal rules. But otherwise, yes, every tile you put down has to go orthogonally against something. Okay. Now, if you put a tile down, and like I said, if it goes over a life pod, that life pod is destroyed. If you also set it on top of one of your rovers, that rover is destroyed. Now, you can get 2 rovers in the game. You might be able to get additional rovers if you're playing with the event cards. So try not to destroy your rovers. Okay. Now, the rovers aren't going to move a whole bunch, and you need those to run over the life pods to go pick up those so you can get points. You also need to go pick up the meteorites so you can get points for those as well. Okay. Once everybody's placed their tile, they've gone up on their tech tree, and they've done all that, then that commander token is going to pass to the next person on the left. He's going to be the new commander, and then he gets to decide what to do. Okay, does he want to, oh, maybe I want to keep this depot in front of me where it's at, or maybe I want to rotate it and I want this tile right here. Once he does that, everybody drafts a tile and they place it on their board. Now, this is going to keep going until one of a couple things happens. Either one of the players can no longer place either one of the 2 tiles. If they can place one of the tiles, even if it's not the one they want to, and they can't place the other one, they have to place that one. But if they can't place either one of them, that's the last round. They still take a tile, they just can't place it on their board. Or the round ends if one of the depot spots, okay, is empty. And if I remember right, I think there's 12 tiles in every single one of them. Once that happens, then the game is going to be over. If you're playing a solo game, it's going to be generated. It's going to be based like 20 rounds. It's based on the cards. I'll cover that again later on. Okay. But otherwise, that's basically what's going to happen. You keep going round and round and round again until one of those 2 situations happens. Once that happens, then what you're going to do is you're going to pull out the scorecard, and you're just going to go right down. And it's really easy to do. You're just going to figure out how you're going to be able to score based on the planet, okay, and how you're going to be able to score on your civ cards, how you're going to be able to score on your objective cards if you have those. Whoever has the most points is going to win the game, okay? Now, one of the things that I'm going to talk about as far as scoring is you're going to notice that there's a number along the left side of your board and across the top of your board, and it's going to go along to the rows and the columns that you have, all right? If any one of those rows is incomplete or has a meteorite on it, you cannot score it. If any one of the columns is incomplete or has a meteorite on it, you cannot score it. So you want to make sure you pick up as many of those meteorites as possible, and you also want to make sure that you pick up well, you want to make sure you fill all the holes, and you can do that by getting your little biotech pieces, your little 1 pieces, and placing those on the board. Okay, but that's it. Okay, there's a bunch of other stuff that happens in the game. I'm going to cover all that in my final thoughts. I just kind of wanted to give you the basic idea how the game plays. As I said, you're going to keep going round and round and round again until one of those 2 things happen, and add up all your points. Whoever has the most medals wins. Planet Unknown. Okay, folks, that was kind of a high-level explanation of how the game plays. I kind of wanted to give you an idea how it is. I know this game's been out for a couple years. I'm late to the table on this one. I heard about this one. I totally forgot about this one, and luckily my buddy Chris, he just went and picked it up, brought it over to me and says, hey, I got this game. Do you want to unbox it? And I'm like, dude, it's Planet Unknown. Yeah, please. Okay, so here we are. Now, one of the things I want to talk about this game is well, I'm going to give you my advantages and disadvantages that I have on this game, okay? Because I have a few pros and cons. All right, but one of the things I want to talk a little bit more is about the tech trees and the things you can do on that, because I really like that tech board. Okay, every one of the 5 techs, as you go up those, okay, there is a lot of different things you can do. Now, there's a lot of spots on those where you go up on one tech and it's going to let you go up on one other tech, and you can kind of keep piggybacking those and bounce them all the way to the top. Okay, get them as high up as you can. The further up you can go on those tech trees, then of course the more resources you're going to get, but the more things you're going to be able to do. Now, it's really important to try to make sure you go up, well, almost every one of them. Some are more important, in my opinion, than others. The Civ Tech track is actually really important because you have those 4 Civ cards, and those Civ cards can get you potentially some good stuff or some good victory points at the end of the game. Okay, and you need to go way up on that tech track in order to get that level 4 Civ card. Okay, but that's a really good one to try to go up. You have the water track. Okay, the water track is going to get you a bunch of victory points, and it's going to allow you to go up on the other tracks, but there's not a lot to it. Now, the water track, you can actually bounce up that a whole lot faster once you get a certain tech to a certain level, and I'll cover that here in a second. The biomass is really critical for you because as always, and everything else, it's going to let you go up on other tech tracks, but it's going to give you these little 1x1 pieces that are going to fill all the little holes of your polyominoes. Because as you place them, now I'm horrible at Tetris, okay? So when I try to place them all over my board, I got these little holes everywhere. So for me, it's really important to try to fill as many as I can, but get as many of those tokens as I can, so that way I can fill in all those empty holes, especially on the rows. You're going to get me the 3 points on the rows and columns. Okay, so going up that bio is really important for that. The rover movement depends upon how your tiles are placed on your board, can be very critical. Now, sometimes in some games, you got your rover on the board and you might be able to place a meteor right adjacent to it. So just that 1 or 2 movement that you're going to get is sufficient. Okay. There's other times when that rover is trying to bounce all the way across that planet. And I'll tell you what, that rover doesn't have a whole lot of movement points. So if you get the second one out and you can place them nicely, it can help, but you got to be really careful with that. So you may or may not have to move the rover a lot, but just think about it this way. You probably do. All right. Now, the last one's going to be your tech. Now, the tech one is a really critical track, okay? Because the tech one is going to give you some bonuses. Now, I'm only going to talk about the Universal Coalition. I'm not going to talk about any of the other ones, okay? I'll cover them a little bit more later on. But the tech ones, once you get up to level 1 on the tech tree, which is what, 1, 2, 3, 4 levels, okay? Once you basically place your 4th tile or you get a bump, okay? That's going to allow you to ignore the adjacency. So you no longer have to deal with the adjacency, and you can just kind of play your tiles however you want to place them. Okay, that can be very critical for maybe trying to place a rover tile someplace where you can place a rover further out and try to get those little life pods or something else. Okay, when you get to level 2, at that point you can start storing your biomass patches. Now, the biomass patches from the biomass track, as you gain them, you have to place them on the board and fill these empty holes. But if you get level 2 on the tech track, then you can just store them there. So at the very end of the game, then you can place them all out on the board. Okay. Level 3 is going to give your rover extra movement. So if you find that your board's just getting meteorites and stuff is scattered all over the place and your rover's not getting where it needs to go, get up to level 3, get that bonus movement for your rover. Is going to definitely help you out. Level 4 is going to give you double water advancement from your tile placements. Now, tile placements for water is unique because water, what you have to do is you have to actually place it to where the water tile is on one of the water streams on the planet. If you don't get to go up on that water track at all. But if you get your Civ Tech up to level 4, when you place a water, you're going to be able to go up twice. Okay, you'll get double movement on that. Level 5, you're unaffected by meteor strikes. You don't place meteorites. So if you can ever make it to level 5, which is the next step from the top, when you place a tile with a meteorite on it, you no longer have to place that meteorite, which is absolutely very nice when you can't get your rover to get to them, because those meteorites on the board, you're not going to be able to score those tiles. Now, every 3 meteorites you happen to pick up is going to be worth 1 point. Okay, get 9, you get 3 points. Every life point or life pod you pick up is going to be worth 1. So it's that one's really nice. I won't say the level 5 for that one is very critical because it's really hard to get up there. Now, all of those tracks, you're going to want to try to push them to the top as high as you can. But I'll tell you what, you're only going to get one, if you're lucky, 2 tracks all the way to the top. It is really hard to do. There's a lot of spaces they got to go, and it all depends on how many tiles are going to be drafted. Now, this is if you're playing a multiplayer game, that's a lot easier said, or a lot easier done than said. If you're playing a solo game, that gets a lot harder, because in the solo game, it's just only a 20-turn game, so you just don't have as much time to be able to push all those tracks up. Okay. And then, of course, the last resource, like I said, I always forget what it is. I'll look at it. The energy resource is the one that looks like it's got all the little solar panels on it. And what you're doing with that one, when you place that tile down on the board, because it's always going to be adjacent, it's always going to be half of something else. Okay, so say it's on a half a tile of a rover. When you place it on the board, the rover tile would go up, or a track would go up, but then that one you're going to be able to move one of the adjacent ones. Okay, so it could move up the rover track. So the rover track theoretically could go up twice. Or if you place it to where its land it's touching another piece of its land, any orthogonal tile that's adjacent to that one, you can actually go up on that tech tree as well, or for that piece. Okay. So when you place the tile, whatever the other half is, that goes up. But then remember, that energy resource is going to let you go on one of the other tiles or tech tracks of your choice, but it's also based on the adjacency placement. I hope it makes sense. There's a really good write-up in the rule book on it. I'll throw it up on the screen so that way you can see it. It explains it way better than I do. I'm actually real horrible at it. Okay, now, that's, for the most part, that's basically it to this game, all right? It's not a real super hard game to play. There's not a ton of rules on this game either. And that's what's really nice. You can teach this game really fast, and it plays quick. I think they say the game plays in like 70 minutes. I know I can play a solo game of this in 30. Okay, it plays that fast. All right. Now, some of the things that I do, or one of the things that I do for scoring for myself is, and I think someone on BGG commented on this as well, is I like to take the little biomass tokens, and for every row and every column that I can't score, I just cover up that number with the biomass tokens, because I just kind of look across and like, nope, cover it up. Nope, cover it up. Yep, 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 nope. So that way it just makes it a whole lot easier. You do you, however, whatever makes it easier for you, it's your game. That helps for me, so I thought I would share that just a little bit. But otherwise, that's it. There you go. I like this game. This is a fun game. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I've read all the rules on how to play this multiplayer, but I've only played it solo. So think of this as more as a like first impression, or a solo review, because solo is the only way I have played it, and I really do want to play this multiplayer. And the cool thing about this game is it's all simultaneous. So a multiplayer game isn't really going to take any longer than a solo game, unless you have that one guy that just can't figure out where to put the tile that he wants. Okay. So yeah, really good. I really like the tile placement on the planet. I absolutely love building out that planet and seeing how it comes to life. Just so much fun trying to figure out the puzzle on how to get all the pieces in there, try to fill every space you can, try to maximize as many points, try to put the meteorites to where they're not going to destroy you too much. Maybe put them over on the one columns are going to get you 1 point, not on the ones that are going to get you 3. Okay, you got to fill out that's like me. I'm horrible at that. But that is so satisfying and so much fun. And then moving that little rover on the board, I love that little figure, picking up all those different things and getting all those points. Absolutely love it. Okay, now I want to talk about the solo mode. I think the solo mode is actually fantastic in this game. This is a really fun solo mode game. Now, there's, I was watching, I think it's One Stop Co-op Shop, and he actually pointed to a user on BGG that had an idea for the game that I actually think this is phenomenal, and I'm going to share that with you as well. When you're playing the game solo, you're always drawing from the depot directly in front of you, and then you rotate it. Okay, and then you draw from the depot, then you rotate it. Well, the thing with the solo mode is I play with the event cards, okay, the event deck. Now, you're trying to get 60 medals, and that's basically your target score. You try to win the game. You want to get as many points as you can, but you're trying to get 60 medals, okay? If you can manage to get like plus 15, I think is the best you can do. You know, all the stars have lined in your flavor, you're a planetary. If you can go 15 over what you're supposed to do, and I'll cover some of that here in a second, okay? But you're building an event deck. That event deck is going to have 20 cards in it. And you're starting off with a 60 medal goal. But depending on how many red cards you put in this event deck, that's going to lower that target, because those red cards are all negative effects that are gonna hit you. Okay. Now it's also going to go down when you put the orange alerts in, based on the number you put on those as well. I'll throw something on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. And then you're going to put green cards in. You're going to fill out the remainder with the green cards, okay, up to 20. And green cards are going to add a plus value to them to see where you come out. So, for example, to me, a little medium game is going to be 10 green cards, and then you're going to have 7 red cards, and you're going to have 3 orange cards. Okay, that's kind of a good medium for me, and it's fun. I really enjoy it. You get those little getches, those take that's, the cards are going to throw your way and everything else, but it works good. Now, what the user on BGG suggested to do, and this is what I absolutely find phenomenal, is you have your depot in front of you, but then what you're going to do is directly across from you is going to be basically your orange target, and then you're going to have your green target, and you're going to have your red target, okay, to the sides. Now, whatever color the event is, what you're going to do is whichever one of the 2 tiles that you draft, whether it be the inner tile or the outer tile, okay, you're going to look at the color of the event card, and you're going to go to that depot, and you're going to remove that tile as well. So at the end of the game, you're going to have this pile of 20 tiles sitting off to the side that you could not draft. And the reason I think that's really cool is because as that lazy Susan's kind of rolling around the board, you know which tiles are coming up, so you can kind of plan 3 or 4 moves ahead of like, oh yeah, I can do this. But if an event card is going to say, oh, that tile is going to go away if you draft this one, you may have to draft a tile you don't necessarily want to draft because of that. And I find that to be absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely love that. So it's something I would always play whenever I play this game. And I think the event deck is phenomenal. It's an optional module, but I think it's something that should be played every time. You flip that event card over and you do what the card says. So much fun. It's just, that's the sugar and spice of this game. Without that event deck, to me, this game would be really, really slow. It'd be a game that I would basically do as an activity when I'm socializing with some friends. Okay, but that's about it. I find this game, I think this is a great game. I want to play with the other planets. I want to play with other technologies. I looked at them. The asymmetry on them is really cool. Each one of them does different things. The bonuses you're going to get on the tech tree is definitely different for every one that you do. How well they're balanced, I have no idea at this point in time. But you're going to pair them all up with a planet that you're going to get. How that's going to work out. Some people may have more advantage than other people. I don't know, but it's going to be really, really fun to try. I think it's definitely worth it. Okay. So Planet Unknown, what do I think about it? I think this is a great game. It's that kind of light to medium weight game. Okay, I'm going to put in the medium weight game when you throw the events in there, just because it's going to mess with you a little bit. I can pull this game out and I can teach someone how to play this game really easy. Okay, it's not a difficult not a difficult game to learn. Okay, not a difficult game to play. But the coolest thing about it is everybody plays. It's simultaneous. Everybody's playing it totally simultaneous. And realistically, other than the fact that whoever the lead commander is rotating the board around to figure out what everybody's going to draft, it's almost it's pretty much a multiplayer solitaire type game. Anyways, it's just somebody else is choosing what you get to draft. Okay, because you're not doing stuff to each other's planet that's going to affect them. Okay, the only thing that's going to be affected is your neighbor cards for your objectives you're going to have between you. You want to try to complete those before your neighbors, so that way you can try to get those points. Okay, get the better points. But otherwise, that's it. I think it's a great game. I think it's a fun game. As always, I always say try before you buy, but this is one I think if you were to pick this game up, if you like polyomino games anyways, I think you're going to love this game. It is worth it. It's ranked really high as a family game, and I can understand why. Absolutely fantastic. I love this game, and I highly recommend it. Well, thank you once again for joining me today. As always, I please ask you to like this video on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on Facebook, or even on X. And please leave me a comment on any one of those platforms. I'll get to those comments just as soon as I can. And if you like the content I provide here, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I please ask that you do that. Even click on the bell and be notified when I drop new videos. Also, if you like the videos that I do here, I ask you to go ahead and check out the Discriminating Gamers channel. I post videos over there as well. I'll do some reviews, some unboxings, and some playthroughs. I will leave a link to Cody's channel down in the details below. People who don't use punctuation should be punished. They deserve a long sentence.